Ever walk into a department store and it's like you just feel this shift, like you're stepping into, I don't know, a world carefully crafted to make you want to buy everything.
I know what you mean.
Well, get this. That's the magic touch of a department store manager we're diving into today.
Really? Interesting.
And we're going deep, people. We've got RoleCatcher's career guide, their website, the whole shebang to break down not just what this job is, but like those little secrets, the insider knowledge.
The stuff you wouldn't know just from browsing the aisles, huh?
Exactly. Whether you're thinking about this career, prepping for an interview, or just love a good behind-the-scenes peek at your favorite stores.
Sign me up. It's funny, people think retail, they think simple, right?
Right.
But making a place both shoppers and the folks in charge, are happy with, that's an art.
It's true. And RoleCatcher, they don't mess around. They get into the nitty-gritty of what these managers do. It's way more than just look nice, stock the shelves.
Oh, for sure. I bet it's way more than people think.
Like they're basically running their own mini kingdoms over there.
You're telling me the variety in what they have to handle must be wild.
1 minute, they're neck deep in sales numbers, figuring out what customers want before they even know it.
Anticipating trends, that's got to be huge.
And bam, next minute, they're haggling with some big shot supplier to get a better price on like a whole truckload of scarves or something.
So it's this mix of knowing the numbers, Andy, knowing how to talk to people. Right. That's crucial.
Spot on. RoleCatcher, they highlight that negotiation, persuasion. That's not just for salespeople, it's for the boss, too.
It makes sense if you think about it. You got to smooth things over with grumpy customers, get your team pumped to sell a zillion sweaters during the holidays.
And then turn around and charm the pants off some supplier to get a good deal, all while staying cool as a cucumber.
Whoa, that's like a whole other skill set on top of the business stuff. You'd practically need to be a black belt in diplomacy or something.
Right. And speaking of strategy, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Online shopping, it's everywhere now. How's that changing the game for department store managers, according to RoleCatcher?
That's where it gets interesting, right? Their industry trends section, they're saying, get this, jobs are actually growing, like a solid 2% over the next 10 years.
Really? So it's not all doom and gloom like some people say?
Nope. But that means it's going to be competitive.
Makes you think what they're going to have to do to keep up.
It's not your grandma's department store anymore, that's for sure. To make it, these managers got to be like chameleons, always adapting. They're not just running a store, they're running like a whole experience online and offline at the same time.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like you order online, pick it up in store, that sort of thing?
Exactly. And those personalized suggestions you see, or using social media to get people talking, it's wild.
It's like they're competing with those online giants, but with real-life stuff, too.
Exactly. That's the magic touch, right? Online stores can't do that.
They've got to make it an event, right? Not just a shopping trip.
A whole production.
Okay.
And for those just starting out, RoleCatcher actually lays out a whole path from newbie to rock star. You start as a department store associate.
So that's like boot camp, learning the ropes.
Totally. Their example profile for it is pretty spot on. You're handling the cash register, making sure the place is spotless, all that basic stuff.
But crucial, right? Because then you're ready for the next step. Department store supervisor.
Yeah.
What's that like? More responsibility.
Now you're leading a team, making the schedule, keeping everyone in line with the rules and all that. It's a whole management crash course, really.
RoleCatcher gives a great example. Like, this supervisor had to handle a customer who was really upset, and they had to figure out how to rearrange the displays to get more sales talk about pressure.
And that's just the supervisor. Imagine when you hit the big leagues. Department store manager. That's got to be intense.
That's the dream, right? Calling the shots for the whole place.
Exactly. No more just one department. You're thinking of the whole store.
Huh?
Planning sales, keeping an eye on trends, making sure the vibe is good so everyone wants to work their butts off.
It's a lot of hats to wear.
You're like the conductor of an orchestra. Each part's got to sound good on its own, but together it's got to be music to everyone's ears.
Love that analogy.
Yeah.
But okay, let's say someone's listening and they're like, sign me up. How do I get this gig? RoleCatcher talks about interview prep, right?
Oh, they go all out. They've got this massive database, over 120,000 interview questions.
120,000. Seriously. Talk about being prepared.
Right, and these aren't just random questions. They're pulled from real interviews, so you get a real feel for what they're going to ask.
So you're not caught off guard. No sweating bullets in the hot seat.
One question that stuck with me was, how do you make sure your department meets customer needs? Sounds simple, but...
It's like, how well do you really get what shoppers want?
Exactly. A good manager is not just reacting, they're anticipating. Like what's hot now, what will be hot next month, even what the psychology is behind why people buy stuff. It's deep.
So you can't just be like, oh, I give great customer service.
Yeah.
Got to have examples ready to back it up.
Right. Don't just tell them, show them. Like at my last job, people kept saying online they wished we had this one thing. So I looked into it, checked out the competition, and boom, made a case to my boss. We started selling it, and sales went up 15%.
Mic drop moment. That's what they want to hear.
Proof, not just promises. That's what RoleCatcher helps you with, those knockout answers.
But it's got to be the right job, too, right? Not just any gig.
Oh, for sure. RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat it either. They've got a whole pros and cons section. And yeah, the pay can be awesome, but
Long hours, tough customers, pressure to perform.
it ain't for everyone, that's for sure. You gotta really want it.
That's where those self-discovery tools come in, right?
Yeah.
Maybe retail's not your jam, but there's something else out there.
Totally. Their career compass is cool. It's like you put in what you're good at, what you like, and it suggests different paths you might never have thought of.
So maybe you're like, data is my thing,
Yeah.
but I like the whole store vibe. And boom, retail analyst pops up.
Or if you're super creative, maybe visual merchandising manager is more your style. It's about finding that perfect match.
Just like we always say, got to find that sweet spot
Yeah.
where you're happy and you're killing it.
And that's what RoleCatcher does, helps you figure that out. They've got info you wouldn't find on your own, that's for sure.
No kidding. Like having a cheat sheet for your career. But before we go, gotta ask, for those set on this whole department store manager thing, any like certifications, courses, stuff to make them stand out? RoleCatcher mentioned that.
Oh, yeah. Two big ones, actually. The CRMP, that's Certified Retail Management Professional, mouthful, I know.
Sounds impressive, though.
It is. And the other one's CSM, Certified Store Manager.
So that's like proof you know your stuff, right?
Yeah.
Not just winging it.
Yeah, exactly. Shows you're serious, always learning, which in this business, super important. It never stops changing.
Like, hey, I'm not just keeping up, I'm ahead of the game.
Exactly. That's the attitude hiring managers love to see.
So we've covered a ton today. What these managers actually do, how online shopping's shaking things up, the skills, the certifications. Gotta say, not a job for someone who just wants to clock in and out, that's for sure.
Definitely not. But for the right person, someone who's got hustle, who's smart, loves making shoppers happy, incredibly rewarding, I bet.
For sure. You got to have that mix of business smarts, people skills, and genuinely loving the whole, like creating an experience thing, not just selling stuff.
And getting all the parts working together, inventory, displays, happy employees, happy customers. It's an art form almost.
Speaking of art, last thought here. Everything's online now. What's going to make those real stores stand out in the future? What do you think?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think it boils down to giving people something they can't get on their phones, you know, real human connection, events, unique finds. Make it a place to be, not just buy.
Like back in the day, it was the only place to shop. Now it's got to be special.
Totally. That's what makes it exciting, though. Big challenges, but tons of ways to be creative.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Big thanks to our expert for all the awesome insights. And listeners, if you're ready to start your own WN retail journey, check out RoleCatcher, links in the show notes. Till next time, happy shopping, everyone.